This final question leads into your closing statements, ladies and gentlemen, so you'll have to answer this and think of something else to say in closing. Okay. How's that?
Okay.
All right, and we begin this time with Ms. Clark. What makes you uniquely qualified above others running this year? Ms. Clark.
You mean above others?
Above others.
Oh, okay.
What makes you so qualified that you should continue on the school board?
Oh, okay. All right. Come on, guys. I think I'm qualified because I come with a unique perspective. Not necessarily on this board, but if you interact with a lot of other boards on Nassau County, a lot of the people that are on boards are educators. I'm not an educator. My profession is I'm a registered nurse. So I think I come as a community resident, as a parent, like I said, with kids with different abilities. So I think that's my unique perspective. Being a nurse, I was an ER nurse and an ICU nurse. We are not known to be quiet. We are known to be assertive and frank, and I think I bring that to the board too. So I'm not going to say that I should be above anyone else, but I think that's one of the reasons why I think I'm a good fit on this board.
Ms. Labor?
Okay. Is she supposed to now have a closing too, or no, I answered the question, then we're going to do closing?
That was my
That
closing.
was the
her
statement
closing.
I made, that you would answer and then
I didn't
you'd
really
have a
understand that.
closing.
That's my closing.
So that's her answer and closing.
Yes, go ahead. Get it on.
Okay, so what makes me uniquely qualified to serve on this board above my opponents? Well, a couple of things. We do live in a very diverse community, and I know most of you don't know my family, but we are a transracial family. And I think that gives me a unique perspective in terms of things like the achievement gap. And there is an achievement gap in Baldwin. And I was just at a presentation where the achievement gap was blamed on economics, but clearly in Baldwin, that's not the case, because we're on a level playing field as far as economics, white and non-white. And as a matter of fact, the black family income is higher than white, but still the test scores are reversed. So I think I have a unique perspective into that part of it. I also am a trial lawyer, but I specialize in education law. So for the past more than 13 years, I have been working in school districts, dealing with school boards, attorneys. I understand the federal and state laws affecting education. I've argued in state court, I've argued in federal court, I've published articles in law review journals on education law. So I'm not someone new coming into this. I'm coming in, hitting the ground running. And I think my professional experience does make me uniquely qualified. And in closing, I want to thank everyone for coming tonight and for listening and for asking great questions. And I hope you will support this budget and vote for me and be out there on May 21st. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Press?
I don't like to think of myself above other people. I'll just talk about, I think, what my experience is. I think, as I mentioned in my opening statement, I've been very involved in PTA and school board matters for the last 5 years. In fact, I've attended more school board meetings over the last 5 years than 60% of the current board, including 2/3 of the people up here that are seeking position on the board or to be reelected. You're the example.
Oh. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I still go to those things.
I've worked on the budget issues for the 5 years with the Budget Advisory Committee, with Mr. Cullen, our Assistant Superintendent for Business, and his predecessor. I've really looked at so many of the issues, and I'm very, very familiar with them, particularly with respect to budget issues. My professional background in contract law, I think also gives me a heads up. A lot of what the school board does, if you're not already familiar with that, is approve contracts. and review contracts. And to be honest with you, I don't know that anyone actually looks at them. I imagine some of them do. I think some of them don't, and they just approve the contracts. I've actually looked at the contracts. The last board meeting, I raised the question about some of the provisions of some of these contracts that are used that I think are inadequate. What else? I think, I'm involved. I'm out there in the community, volunteering. People, you've seen me. If you voted, you've seen me at either the Sani 2 election, the school board elections the last couple of years, the general elections. I'm out there in the community. I speak with members of the community. I understand the issues. And I think I have a way, and I've shown this over the last few years with the Plaza PTA, of taking the complex issues and being able to explain them to the community, and my time is up. So thank you very much for coming.
Ms. Taylor?
During my first term, I was a passionate and committed advocate for the children of this district. I have 3 years of experience under my belt, which means that I do not have to spend the next 3 years learning this job. It takes a really long time to learn this job. I can hit the ground running, and I think that that is a plus, especially in the difficult times that are ahead for this district. I have strong communication skills and the ability to listen with an open ear. I'm accountable and approachable, and I am a very calm personality, and I think that that is a plus, because sometimes board meetings can get a little bit interesting. So being able to take the heat when we have to take the heat, and being able to express myself, and being able to listen, and being able to communicate to the district and to the community members what I need to communicate is an important aspect. I am dedicated and committed to this community, and I think I've proven that in the past 3 years. I've enjoyed serving on this board, and whether I get reelected to this board or not, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but to me, the most important thing is that I now have the bug for civic service, and I plan to continue that, whether it is with this board or it's not with this board. I want to remain very involved in the community. So I'm looking forward to continuing my board service, and I thank you guys for listening to us tonight.
Before we end, and before we applaud our wonderful candidates, I'd like to know if there is anyone who has a question for our library. Our librarian.
Poor things. Or are we doing so well if you don't have any questions?
No,
Any questions? So well.
you're doing so well. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, this group told me tonight that they had not been told they were going to do a closing. So do you see how I sneaked that last question in? Now, let's give them a huge applause. And ladies and gentlemen, it has been